The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss uncommon uses for apples that you'll be picking or purchasing, as well as natural privacy options for your property. Our guest is from social media platforms. Naked Gardener Jess will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour's full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Thank you for choosing us to be part of your day just for a little bit. I'm your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you're tuning in, whether you're listening to us on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2025, a radio app through our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Radio 9 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay, in-studio video replay. However you're doing such, thank you very much. You want to be part of the program? Garden Talk Radio at gmail.com is the communication avenue. Garden Talk Radio at gmail.com. Or you can jam your fingers in your phone and dial us up toll free, coast to coast, at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
This joke is appropriate.
It is? Okay. Well, they're all appropriate.
For our
topics?
First subject. Yeah, topic.
Okay.
All right. So what kind of apples throw the best parties?
Granny Smith apples.
Granny Smith apples?
I don't know.
Gala apples. Because like gala.
Oh, it's a gala, like a dance hall type thing.
And fun fact. Those are my favorite types of apples, is the gala apples.
For people who are not familiar, what color are those?
They're like a reddish, they're a reddish color.
Okay.
They're not like red delicious red, but they're like a
red spotty.
Yeah, kind of spotty. Sometimes they have a little bit of greenish, yellowish to them, but they're pretty sweet. So like if you were to make an apple pie, they would probably make it sweeter. I know people use like the green apples for apple pie.
Right.
I don't know. I like them. But anyway, this week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests such as wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
I've got a joke for you.
Okay, what's your joke?
I made a shirt out of corn.
Is it your corn shirt?
Well, I couldn't take it to the fair because they didn't have a crop top category.
I like it.
Well, let's get into uncommon, unfamiliar, unusual ways to utilize apples, whether you have an orchard or you go to pick your own farm, which I've talked about how that, I'm not a big fan of those. But anyway.
You're not?
No, because, it's like, let's go pick some apples. Let's pay the farmer to do the work for him,
Right.
But, what we refer to is, we're not talking about apple pies here or cinnamon apples in the microwave or over the campfire. These are some very different ones that you may want to try this year. Pick up an extra, peck is for for peaches. Peck is a measurement for a bushel of apples.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, that just reminded me, I like to make cinnamon apples in the microwave. So anyway, apple salsa is one. So this would be kind of like regular salsa, but not with tomatoes. So you would use apples.
A bushel of apples is between 42 and 48 apples.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could probably, if you go apple picking, they probably would tell you that. So
contain a bushel of apples is approximate weight is 42 to 48 pounds, containing 125 medium-sized apples. So basically 50 pounds of apples is a bushel.
So apple salsa, so this is something, so it's kind of like a savory / sweet I would use sweet apples for this. I wouldn't use.
And there's categories, there's charts online that identify here's sweet ones, here's tart ones. It's like you can look at what
middle
or what the apple is best utilized for.
Right. So apple salsa is diced apples, onions, pepper, cilantro, lime juice, and then a touch of honey. So you get like a little bit of a sweet, savory, and then you would put it with grilled foods. I think that would be good on tortilla chips or even
like a dip.
Yeah, like a dip
or a salsa.
It is a salsa.
A dip. Yeah.
Apple stuffing.
So pork chops or beef or venison grilled.
I would say like pork chops would probably be the best because typically, or like a ham.
Well, what was it? Chutney? Isn't that what goes good on pork?
It's kind of like a chutney in a way because chutney has that sweet savory balance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a similar concept.
Now, is this something that is not cannable? You can't really can this for a pre-means. It's more of a make now and use over a course of a time frame.
I did not look up to see if there was a canning recipe, but I bet you could do that because you can make peach salsa.
Right.
So why couldn't you make apple salsa?
Okay.
They'd probably be good. Didn't we make pear salsa once?
We made pear everything once with that tree. We made pear honey, pear juice, pear sauce, pear whole, pear whatever. We did everything with it.
Yeah, so there's an idea. Apple stuffing, so you could do this with... instead of, like, people make the cornbread stuffing or the pecan stuffing, whatever. This is the same concept.
So the stuffing that you would normally traditionally think of Thanksgiving, you could use this as a substitute.
Right, because people make, add cranberries to their stuffings, dried cranberries. So it's not totally off the wall to have something that's a little bit sweet.
Got a little crunch to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apple infused olive oil. I mean, you can make all sorts of infused olive oils. That's not...
Oh, you can dehydrate apples. You can core them and cut them and dehydrate them in your dehydrator and have them as apple chips.
Those are delicious.
And if you don't have a dehydrator and you're in the food, it would be something that would be a worthy investment, something that has a fan that drives the air throughout the unit. Some air fryers have this setting.
We have a dehydrator setting on ours.
The problem with some dehydrator or some air fryers is it circulates the air. So now you've got, things flying around inside. So when you try to heat some of the stuff.
Yeah, our original air fryer had that because you.
And I don't know if the dehydrating system would shut it off and just puts the heat. I don't know. But if
well, ours is like a toaster oven air fryer combo. And we bake pizzas in it. So it's like, it's a little bit more advanced. But I love that thing. So the olive oil, you can infuse we made
strawberry.
Was it strawberry
Yes.
olive oil? Yeah.
Yep.
So you can do that same thing with apples. You just have to take the slices and then even the skins. You put the olive oil, you let it sit, and then it becomes apple olive oil. So that's a good idea. Apple pie latte. So if you wanted to like mash up some apples and make muddle them and then add a coffee sweetener or whatever to make a little apple pie latte, that's a good idea. Probably find recipes online for that.
Homemade apple wine. If you're into the hard, I guess it's hard cider. I guess that's what you call it. I don't know, but it's you can make your own. You've got to have, if you're in the alcohol making genre, you need all the airlock and the rubber plugs and all this other stuff to make it. But that's something you can do. You can just juice it through your juicer. That's pretty easy to do.
That's not that off the wall.
No, but to juice it, some people don't have juicers.
Right.
So in order to juice a lot of let's say you got a bushel of apples, fill in the blank, however much, and you wanted to juice them, and then you can that juice. You lose some of the value of nutrient from it because you're juicing with the heat.
You lose like a ton of it though.
But for, let's say 125 medium-sized apples, 50 pounds, that's probably going to be quite a lot of juice, a fresh apple.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about fresh apples, we're talking about like you picked it or they picked it last night. These apples you get in the store, they are sometimes weeks, months, or even longer old because they've been sitting in a refrigerator until the store requires that shipment. So while you talk about that, I'll figure out how long an apple typically sits on the shelf, and we'll be shocked by the answer.
All right, I just want to talk about this one because I don't know if people still do this, but making apple stamps so you can cut them lengthwise because they kind of
From top to bottom. From across the equator.
Across the equator.
Yeah.
Because the way their seeds are, when you cut them across the middle, it makes like this little star pattern. And I remember doing this, I think like at the library or Girl Scouts or something when I was a kid, and they're little apple stamps. Or you could carve like stars or hearts or whatever out of the meat of the apple and make a stamp that way. You can do it with a potato as well.
Do you have any guesses on how old an apple is that you buy in the store?
4 weeks.
An apple in the store can be up to 1 year and sometimes even older as they are harvested in the fall and stored for months in controlled atmospheric environments to keep them fresh for year-round availability.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's interesting. I wonder if, because sometimes, apples go on sale, like super, super sale. I wonder if they're, trying to clear out inventory.
Probably.
Yeah.
And if you've had a fresh apple that you've went to the farmer's market or the pick your own farm and ate compared to a store, the exact same comparison of store-bought tomato versus homegrown backyard tomato. The juiciness and the freshness of that apple compared to that store-bought one, which is just kind of plain, somewhat okay.
Now I got to find out if any of these pick-your-own-apple places have Gala apples, because they're my favorite.
And get a bushel of...
Yeah, but that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, if they go bad way quicker because most of us don't have the environment conditions in order to store apples correctly.
I will say I've had some really, really delicious store-bought apples.
But what time of year was it? Was it like November, December, right after the harvest, or was it in May?
They're not the best in the springtime, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can make apple candle holders. So you just you cut the apple in half, whichever way you want it, so that it kind of sits flat, and then you can put a candle in, and it can just look like a nice little fall decor. This would work well with store-bought apples because they don't rot as easily. Yeah. And then also you can carve and dry apples to create little spooky decorations for Halloween. That could be fun.
Yeah. I got one more, or is that all? Do you have one more, or is that all?
I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, we are brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. We're at the canning preserving time for vegetables and fruits, but what about the meat? Soon, maybe, if you are a hunter, you might have some fresh wild game. And you want to make your own jerky, meat product, sausage, whatever. Walton's has everything you need. They have meat grinders, sausage stuffers, mixers, spices, help you go from animal to edible. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more.
When we return, natural privacy options for your property. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Good garden tools make gardening easier. Wisconsin-made Cobra Head tools simplify weeding, cultivating, digging, and planting. Favorites of professional gardeners, Cobra Head tools are durable, ergonomic, and easy to work with. Visit CobraHead.com and use coupon code SOIL for 10% off your order. David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com.
Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com.
A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA BioPreferred certified? You bet. Say goodbye to Roundup and hello to No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. No More Weeds kills weeds with no harsh chemicals and no glyphosate. Safer on pets, No More Weeds has a proprietary sticking agent to use around gardens, pools, decks, patios, anywhere there are weeds. Available online at natgreenproducts.com, Amazon, and Walmart.com. Order yours today. The same great company that brings you no more bugs. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Do you have nuts or fruit in your yard? A Nut Wizard is a handy, effective tool that will pick up round or oval tree produce quickly and easily, leaving debris behind for a clean harvest. A Nut Wizard tool saves your back and your time. Visit NutWizard.com for more information.
Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at TotallyTomato.com. That's code 15TG25.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Miss any of those coupon codes? Want to find more information out about the sponsors that help bring this program to you each week? Find them at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Radio 9 tab or Money tab at the top of the page. We're going to discuss natural privacy options, Holly.
Right. So this is something where you might build a tree wall or not build, but plant a tree wall, or like a shrub and tree wall, or
natural fence.
Yeah, or bushes or whatever you want, like
blockade,
like arborvitae. I don't know if that's considered. I guess it's a tree.
Yeah, it's a tree. Yeah. Good barrier. They get very wide and tall and can just block out a whole section of stuff.
Right. So arborvitae is obviously probably like the most well one, and it works very well in most areas, and it's very hardy too. It typically doesn't succumb to frost or freeze, so it's definitely one of the ones to consider. All of these that we're listing here are good basically between zones 3 and 6. So
check your area for what zone you're in.
Right. So we'll start here with what's called the little leaf linden. This is a tree, and it has dense dark green leaves. It does get up to 50 feet tall. So this is something where you would have to, so if you're looking for something that has privacy like at a lower height, then this would not work for that. You'd have to plant some sort of bush.
Because it has limbs, but it has a certain amount of trunk that is exposed, so you could see underneath.
Right. But if you are trying to block off, maybe you live by an apartment building or something,
but now most of these do take time to grow. Yes. So it's not like you're going to see rapid growth in the first 2 to 3 years.
And this one does, bees are attracted to it. So that's always nice for the pollinators. And then there's another one that's called the viburnum, and it's a large group of shrubs. So this is something that's a little bit lower to the ground, and it can create a whole hedge. It's dark green leaves. They kind of turn to a red purple in the fall, and they flower little white flowers, or like white flowers, and this goes from 6 feet to 15 feet, which I think is a good height for a privacy border.
Right.
Unless you want something taller.
Let's look at what do we got here? Eastern. Okay, you can go with that one. Okay. Yeah.
So this is another one that is.
It's from ground level all the way to the tip top. It has expansion of branches and can basically create a hedge of blockage. There's no trunk to be found.
And it's good for birds. I've seen this around like parks and stuff, and you can usually hear the birds in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Next one would be Eastern white pine.
Okay. Yep. So the white pine,
50 to 70 foot tall, can grow as low as growing zone 3. Now it does have some trunk at the bottom, but it is very full. If you're trying to prevent people from looking into your property, this is not an option for you. The eastern hemlock would be a better option for you, or arborvitaes would be another great option to completely seal off the viewing access points to your property if you're trying to hide stuff or you just want privacy.
So let's talk about this, because I've talked about birds and bees. Maybe you're like, why wouldn't you just put up a fence if you're so concerned about privacy or whatever? And I think that, I mean, you could do both, or you could do like some pine trees and a fence, but I think it's nice to plant the trees. As they say, the best time to plant a tree is
10 years ago.
10 years ago or today. So it's nice to have something growing. And also it does support bees, birds, squirrels, other wildlife, what have you, whatever's in your...
Well, I've got an answer to why you just don't put a fence up.
Okay, what's your answer?
There's some HOAs and people who live in HOAs. I've never met a single person that loved the HOA they were in unless they're the president. There are certain HOAs that prohibit the construction of fencing around their property, unless the president wants it, and then he can get it. I know some stories of the president omitting his fence, but there are loopholes in some HOAs where you can't have a fence. But
like a fence around the White House?
No, like a white picket fence. There's HOAs that no fences are allowed in the HOA.
The president of the HOA?
Yes.
Okay.
But there might be some gray area where you can plant shrubbery or other items in order to prevent privacy from looking in. There also is, in certain states, agricultural criteria that if you exceed X number of square feet in your backyard of raised bed or vegetational growing space, the HOA no longer has authority over your particular property because the state government deems you as a homestead. So look at what's going on with your HOA, if you're in an HOA, and what is the criteria that allows you to jump over those people that want to try to control you. If the state says, hey, you need 900 square feet of vegetation, raised beds, or in-ground gardens, and then you no longer have to answer to the HOA because now this is in the backyard, because they are saying that you are a homestead and HOAs can't touch that.
All right, so if you want something that's fast-growing...
What's that?
This is the Western Red Cedar.
Okay.
It's fast-growing. It forms this green wall for instant privacy, and then you can prune it pretty simply. It has a nice lush backdrop, and this gets 30 to 40
How quickly does it indicate?
Depending on the variety, 15 to 20 feet or 30 to 40 feet. I don't know how quickly it grows, but... Some people do have issues with deer, so with the red
Western Red Cedar.
Western Red Cedar, thank you. So that's something to consider if you are in an area with a lot of deer. That could be a problem, but they are.
Western Red Cedar can grow relatively fast rate. Most sources indicate 1 to 3 feet per year once the plant is established, and can grow 2 to 3 feet annually. So
I apologize. This one is okay for deer. The arborvitaes is not as deer resistant. I didn't know that.
But also now, if you're creating a literal wall of arborvitae, I mean, whenever you plant these, you've got to figure out what the end result. Just like when you're planting tomatoes, you can't shove 14 tomatoes in a 10-foot row because you got to have spacing whenever they get mature.
Right.
And at the level of maturity, whether that's 4 years or 14 years, if it is dense enough, there is very little possibility that animals are going to fight their way through that particular variety of plant or tree in order to get access to your property. Animals are creatures of least resistance. If they got to struggle to get through a bunch of arborvitaes or other plant limbs and leaves in order to get to your property, they're going to go to your neighbors.
Right. And I think this also is good to mention is you might want to go to your local plant nursery, tree nursery, whatever you want to call it, tree farm, and talk to the people and talk about your goal and what you're trying to do and what would make sense for the amount of upkeep you want. And what kind of, this is why local is important, because they're going to know, like, you live in this area, there's a lot of deer in that area. You live in this area, there's not so many deer. what have you, and that way you can kind of figure out what's going to work best along with what maybe you want to fill in. Or you go to the nursery and then you go to the garden center, and the local garden center can help you figure out what's like maybe a bush or a hedge or just a plant, a perennial that could do the coverage for you.
Have a budget in mind. If you go to that tree farm, here's what I'm wanting to accomplish, and here's my budget. Because anybody that's in the business of trying to serve the public and trying to meet your needs, if the more information they have, okay, you want to do this, and you have a budget of this. Okay, I can put a plan together and give you about 3 different options, the low, medium, and high, and then we can start making this vision a reality. When you don't have a number and you go there and go, well, I don't know, I may maybe 600, maybe at that, you're not going to accomplish anything.
That and how much space you are trying to cover, how much space you're trying to cover. If you say, I think it's 25 feet.
That's not going to work.
That's not helpful either, because
it's amazing if you're going to do this. Like you're going to create a natural hedge wall around. It's amazing how quickly this can be accomplished if you go and go, here's my budget, here's how many feet I have, and here's 3 options that I'm looking at. What would you recommend being the best thing, and do you have that in stock, and how quickly would you be able to put that in or provide me the plants that I can put it in? Things move a whole lot quicker when you have solid answers instead of the guessing or the maybes or I don't knows or I'll get back to yous.
And it's also just frustrating for the people who work there.
Because they don't think you're serious.
No, they don't think you're serious. And also, if it's a busy time of year, you're just wasting their time. You're
going to the bottom of the list.
Right. You're in front of, you're wasting other people's time who are trying to actually purchase things and make the business money. So yeah, definitely go with a plan.
We've got time for one more. Let's grab one more on the list here. And
there's one called service berries. And I've seen a lot of people don't realize they see these, but I've seen these in parking lots of grocery stores, and they get about 15 feet tall. You can eat the berries, but they prevent.
Be sure you do your research before you start eating berries off trees.
They're not super dense, but they provide like a nice screening. Mm-hmm. So like the branches are thick and full, and then when
it's not one central stalk, it's about 5 or 6 stalks coming. Yeah, like a hand coming up with pretty decent, sturdy branches on that.
So maybe you're not looking for like a full wall of foliage, but you want something that's just kind of break things up, whatever. Definitely check out the service berry because I know they do grow pretty prolifically. Joey, summer's winding down, but just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles and other grubs. They may now be hidden, but they're not far. Not only did the beetles feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs in your turf so that they can invade your yard again next year. Fight back with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT granule that applied to lawns and specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae with an 80% plus control even in the fall.
Holly, did you know that Grub Gone is the only non-chemical choice that effectively controls grubs? And when you combine it with the best chemical grub control at very low amounts, BioAdvanced grub control products, the tough-to-kill fall season grubs, are hit with a 1-2 punch that kills them at the best rate tested, nearly 100%. This combo of the best of biology and chemistry is called IPM, Integrated Pest Management, which is the best industry practice. Mix 1.25 pounds of each per 1,000 square feet equals 100% control. Grub Gone from Phylum Bioproducts, the best combination of safety and performance. When we return, Jess from social media platforms, The Naked Gardener, will be with us. You're tuned in to the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now, 1-800-927-SHOW.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standards strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit AzureStandard.com, that's AZURE Standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at AzureStandard.com. Azure Standard is AZURE Standard.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
R.H. Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Save your back. Easily and quickly remove trees and shrubs from your property with the Weed Wrench. Find it at weed-wrench.com. Made in the USA. Use coupon code WEED to save $10 off your Weed Wrench at weed-wrench.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Thanks for being with us, allowing us to be part of your day. Find out more information about those coupon codes and the companies that allow us to bring us to you each week. The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page and the Money tab for coupon codes. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Jess is known as the Naked Gardener. She shows her gardening and canning adventures on YouTube and other social media. She has a passion for growing tomatoes, and she also sells lovely canning labels. Welcome to the program, Jess.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to not only entertain and educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And let's start with this. How did you... why are you considered the Naked Gardener? Like, what is there a backstory of this, inside joke? What came about that title?
There is a really good backstory, but the reason I'm the Naked Gardener is because I show it all. I show everything from seed to table, no secrets in between. But the backstory is I just have like a really funny personality by nature. And one year I saw these naked man bathing suits on the internet. And my mother-in-law has a pool at her house. And I said, I'm going to buy that and wear it to my mother-in-law's pool. And I did multiple times that summer. And I've been a gardener for 10 years. So my friends were like, oh, you should be the Naked Gardener. And I'm like, you know what? I think I will. And I did. So here we are.
So you said you've been gardening for 10 years. What got you into gardening? It wasn't something you found as a child, but later on in life?
I had never planted anything in my life until we moved into our house. And I've always been someone, I have ADHD, so I'm constantly looking for a new hobby. And I said, you know what? I think I want to garden out here. So my husband built a fence and we bought a tiller and I started planting seeds and I just never found a way out of it.
And that's a story we hear a lot of people tell. Oh, I didn't plant anything, didn't have an interest in it until I bought a house. And then it became interesting or almost a necessity for me to explore this gardening thing. For
me, it was something to keep me busy, but the way of life that I live now is, there's no going back. I cannot even imagine the life I would live if I didn't garden. And the funniest part is I don't even eat fresh tomatoes. Me or my husband, neither one of us eat fresh tomatoes.
So it's all canned, or do you not grow tomatoes at all?
I actually canned 165 pounds of tomatoes this year. I can everything.
Okay.
I grow Roma tomatoes to can, and I grow beef steaks to give away. And so all of those were given away to my family and friends, and everything that was a Roma tomato I kept and put in a jar.
So did you get into canning because of gardening, or what made you decide to
put the two together?
Yeah, put the two together.
My passion is starting seeds and growing, but canning is a byproduct of the things that I grow. Like I said, I don't like tomatoes, and I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So when I started, I had 25 tomato plants, which produced a lot of tomatoes. So very quickly I figured out how to can. But when I came along, my parents and my grandparents, they didn't can. I was the youngest. I have an older sister, and then of the grandchildren, I was the youngest on both sides of my family. So no one was canning. I taught myself how to do it all from Pinterest, tutorials.
For people who want to get into canning and is like, boy, I just don't know how to find the time. Do you have any advice on that with a busy schedule? How can somebody kind of manage canning just a small amount?
The best way to do that is to determine what it is that you want to can and what it is that you are going to consume the most of. For me, we consume the most tomato products. That's why I grow so many tomatoes. But getting started, fruit is really the easiest thing. Making jams and jellies is so easy. Especially when you use fruit that has high pectin, you don't have to worry about adding anything to it. You can do it all natural with just lemon juice, fruit, and sugar.
Now, you speak about saving seeds. Is there one particular type of seed you like and enjoy and look forward to saving, and is there one that really is a challenge to you?
Honestly, tomatoes. My whole world kind of revolves around tomatoes. They are definitely my favorite to save and to grow. But one seed that I have that is imperative that I save is a family heirloom of mine. And this is one of my most wholesome stories that I have about me. When I moved into my house and decided I wanted a garden, my grandma said, well, I think I have some seeds in my freezer. So she got them out and gave them to me. They were her father's seeds from his freezer that she retrieved in 1977 when he died. I was born in 1987, so these seeds were 10 years older than me, at least. And when she gave them to me, I planted them, and they all came up. And so it is very imperative every year that I grow these seeds properly and that I save the seeds so that I can carry on the tradition for my family.
Are you aware of what variety they are, or is that a mystery to the family?
They are a white half runner green bean. They are not stringless. You have to string them. But I do not know the name of them. The bag said Hodgen beans, and I have done hours of research, and I can't find anything on Hodgen beans.
And it may be one of those lost varieties that don't exist anymore in the commercial world, and your grandfather knew what he was doing, and he made that was just the way of life. Save everything, save everything, save everything. That was that generation.
For sure. The way my grandmother grew up, if they didn't grow it or raise it, they didn't eat it. So I know that they were seed savers themselves. There really is no telling how old these seeds are. They likely date back generations before my great-grandfather. But that's the only information that I have.
Boy, if those beans could talk, that would.
I know.
That's really cool, though. Not everybody can, say they have like literal heirloom seeds.
The true heirloom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I tell the story on social media, I could sell millions of them if I could produce them. But people don't understand that this year is a great example. I planted those seeds 3 times before I actually got sprouts, not because of the seeds, but because of the weather conditions. So I can't sell the seeds, because if I were to sell them and then my batch didn't produce, I would be out of luck.
Right.
Yeah, that would feel very risky. So you have a great sense of humor in your videos and in life. It's clear on your YouTube channel. Tell us about your YouTube channel and the name of it and what people can expect when they go there.
My YouTube channel, the name is Naked Gardener NC, and it's very important to put that NC behind the name, because you may find someone else doing a totally different thing, which I get a lot of looks, you know. But my YouTube channel is about teaching people how to grow and preserve their food. I love to be silly and, you know, do these videos. I've done music videos in the past and Naked Gardening Day videos, but my true thing is trying to teach people how easy and fun it is to plant the seeds yourself and be able to grow food in your backyard. So my YouTube is kind of cultivated around just how-to videos. My Facebook and TikTok and Instagram have a lot of like trendy videos, but YouTube is just for the how-tos.
So you make these gorgeous canning labels. They're very artistic.
Thank you.
How did you get into that? Do you have a background in art, or is it just something you were like, I'm going to start making these, and it just kind of came naturally to you?
My mom's mom is an artist, and my dad's dad was an artist, so it is in my blood to have these quality genes, and I'm so artistic by nature. We own a large format printing business as our real job, as our paying income. So whenever I started canning, I made my own canning labels, and for years everybody that came to my house complimented them. So now I sell them to the public to do that as well.
Let's talk about the wild pumpkin vine that you've got growing. What's the story behind that? Because many people may not know, but there is squashes that would naturally grow up trees and grow in trees.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to watch. She's died back multiple times and come back and climbed the tree some more and then died again. My neighbor and I, we're friends, and we have a piece of property in between us that's just grown up woods. And last fall, we both put pumpkins out in the woods. And in the early spring, we had someone come over with a piece of equipment, and they just kind of chewed up the land in between us, which in turn scattered the seeds. So we have wild pumpkin vines out in our woods.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see that.
They're pretty cool. I've picked one so far. I know that there's about 6 out there, but there's a lot of poison ivy at this point that's in the way of getting to them.
Whenever you're doing your canning, I mean, you know how to do the canning. You do it right and do it safe. What do you see as the biggest mistake people make when they are canning that makes you cringe?
The biggest mistake that makes me cringe is when I see people online teaching new canners how to rebel can. And I won't lie, there are a few recipes that I have. Some would argue with me about being a rebel recipe, but I try to do everything by the book, because when you are learning how to can, you can be a rebel canner if you want to, but you need to know the basics and you need to understand food science first. It's very important that you don't create a jar full of bacteria to feed your family. So it's very cringy for me to see newcomers in this area take someone who's just giving them recipes they likely just made up, and then they're going home and making these and thinking that it's a good idea.
Yeah. The rebel canner, for people who are not aware, that's what it means. They just throw stuff in a jar. Well, we're not following a recipe. We'll seal it up and throw it in the canner, and we'll take a guess and see what happens.
And sometimes they can stuff that doesn't even make sense, like rice. Like they're canning cooked rice, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
A lot of things that are canned, you have to worry about the thickness of them. Like, you can't can chocolate syrup, for instance, because it's too dense. The heat can't pass properly through it during the canning process, and that's why it's not safe to can it. Is it going to be fine? Probably, sure. But if you're following the rules, that's not okay. The National Center for Home Food Preservation is where every person should go for canning recipes. They are a trusted source where you can find any information you're looking for.
When it comes to, are you going to live or die if you eat this? Well, you'll probably live. I don't like that odds. That's very, I want more, I want more higher probability there.
And something that's really easy for people to do is to buy pH test strips that you can dip into your product before you can it, just to make sure you're in the safe side.
Definitely. And I'm glad you mentioned the National Center for Home Food Preservation, because I'm always talking about it when we talk about canning, and it's nice to have somebody else say it because, as you know, people don't always believe you. So, with that, sure. Gifting season will be here soon. You know, people are thinking about what they're going to give to people for the holidays. Do you have any favorite things to can and that you like to give out as gifts?
I do, and there is a variation every year just depending on what hobby I'm circulating around at in the wintertime. It changes each year. But this year, I'm going to be giving away herb salts, vanilla bean paste, and extract, hot sauce, and I'm also making friendship tea. And I made friendship tea last year, and everyone loved it, so I'm bringing it back again this year.
Well, Jess, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered us. Again, if you will remind our listeners where they can find you on the internet and your platforms.
You can find me on the internet under Naked Gardener or Naked Gardener NC. I'm active on all platforms. I love meeting people and answering questions. I live for the questions. So please reach out to me if you have any gardening questions at all.
Well, Jess, we thank you very much for your time and the information you've provided Holly, myself, and all of our listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's going to be your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4jars25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com. Check out ivorganics.com. It's America's leading garden product YouTube channel. IV Organic products are innovative, organic, effective, and proudly USA made to help you achieve your best growing season. Use coupon code RADIO10 at checkout and save 10% on your entire order at ivorganics.com. That coupon code again is RADIO10 to save 10% on your order at ivorganics.com. If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com. Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at VermontBean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at VermontBean.com. Wisconsin Greenhouse Company has custom-made greenhouses to suit your needs. Grow year-round. Strongest greenhouses that will last a lifetime. From agricultural to lounging to entertaining. For more information, go to WisconsinGreenhouseCompany.com. Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you around. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your day. We greatly appreciate the company. Want to find out more information about those sponsors? The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com is the place to go. The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com underneath the Money tab and the Radio 9 tab at the top of the page. Time for your garden questions and our garden answers. Send them on over, gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or toll free, coast to coast, 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Let's go to the hotline. We have a question.
I understand the state of Texas has just authorized fracking water to be used on agriculture. That was signed into legislation apparently in June of this year. And I'm wondering what effect that's going to have on different crops. If you know anything about fracking water and pollution, how is that going to affect the quality of the food? All right, thanks. And I'm David. I'm out in San Francisco. Thanks.
Well, thank you, David, for listening to us in San Francisco, way out there, listening to us via podcast. We don't have a station out there, but we have listeners literally in all 50 states, provinces, and around the world. So fracking, he's asking about, is this water that they're going to use for these agricultural crops safe for animal and or crop use?
So, no, it's not. And I digged into some pretty comprehensive research here. Data. I do have a degree in environmental science, so I kind of know how to look into these things a little bit more deeply, and it's not looking good. This fracking water can...
Well, first of all, if people are familiar with, know the term, but don't understand the operation, what is occurring is they're
taking the water that is...
But they pump the oil out of the well,
yeah,
and then the natural water comes in, and they're pressurizing that water. They're pumping that water out to utilize it for areas that are what most people would consider very dry conditions to utilize the groundwater. However, that groundwater is contaminated because of the oil that was in that pocket underground and other chemicals that the mine may use in order to extract that oil.
So they call it fracking wastewater or produced water. And it can contain a lot of hazardous substances that can accumulate in agricultural soil, and it can be absorbed by crops. So this includes heavy metals such as arsenic, barium, cadmium, chromium, and lead. It can all be present in this water. And then also they have a high level of salinity. This could harm plant growth. That high level of salt is not good for plant growth. They also have not good organic compounds. So this includes things like volatile organic compounds, which can degrade soil quality and have a negative effect of toxicity. Also, it can reduce crop yields. It can poison the livestock and cause reproductive issues in livestock, but also in humans as well, because it has these endocrine disruptors in that wastewater, and that can cause reproductive issues. On top of that, it does increase carcinogenic exposure. So
cancer causing.
Yeah, it's cancer causing, and then it can increase chronic illness and developmental problems. So in short, it's not good.
Is there any reason, was you able to find out any conclusion of why they're doing such a thing?
I didn't look into that. I'm assuming there's a lot of drought conditions in Texas, and I don't know if they think
true,
this is the
but
solution.
if you have and we're not scientists, you got a degree in environmental science, we're not politicians, and we're not getting fed money to say certain things either.
I mean, I am technically a scientist, but yes. Yeah.
other
we're not politicians.
There's some singers that are so-called astronauts, but we won't get into that. But if you're in an area where super drought conditions exist, okay, here's a source in which we can utilize to reduce that drought condition. However, what we can use in order to create less drought is going to do even more harm than the drought itself. That doesn't seem like it's a win-win.
I don't know. I don't want to.
That seems like Michael Scott math.
I don't want to get too deep into this because we have other questions.
Yes.
I would say
But
that
is the scientific answer.
That is a scientific answer, and it's not good. Like it's something that people should be aware of, and
just because you see it on your favorite news station that you trust and believe, that doesn't mean you can't use your very expensive handheld computer to do your own research, to find out other sources, to find out, verify, and understand what's really going on. I have 2 pumpkins growing all summer now, and last week I had found 6 to 8 new ones that are in small size on the vine. Is there any benefit to removing the 2 larger ones to try to get the smaller ones to grow before the fall festival time comes, as I like to decorate my front porch with pumpkins?
I just want to backtrack.
Okay,
here
go ahead.
It is because of the impending water crisis in Texas, and they have an increasing population. Right. So that's also causing issues as well.
So one bad thing to try to fix another bad thing.
Right. Anyway, back to the pumpkins.
As it being this late in the season and in some portions of the country being as cool as it is, those little pumpkins are probably not going to do any good. You should be happy with the 2 larger ones that you have been growing all season. You can remove those if they are ripe on the vine, and there are some techniques in which you can coat the outer portion of the pumpkin in order to prolong the life of it to get the most out of the decorative needs you have on your porch. You can leave the smaller ones on, but I don't think with the conditions that we are seeing, even if it's with the cool nights and the shorter days, that you're going to get much return out of those smaller pumpkins.
Is this my sister's question?
No.
Okay. No. My sister's growing a beautiful. She only has 1 pumpkin.
Only 1 pumpkin, but it's a pretty one.
It is a pretty one. She had some little pumpkins growing. That's why I asked.
Should I add compost to my beds now or in the spring? And the answer is yes. Either one is acceptable, because if you add compost now, it's still going to be good compost in the spring. However, my recommendations is, if you can do it now, there's 2 benefits. One, your growing season, if you've got beds that are available or areas that you can top dress and add compost to, go ahead. You might be able to get a better rate per ton at your garden center and have it delivered. And 2, you've got time. We've talked about this on the program. In the spring, it's like a switch goes off, and I needed to get everything. I should have been doing stuff 2 weeks ago, because now it's warm and I feel like I'm behind. And now I've got to add compost on top of the other things I'm wanting to get done in the garden. Try to do it now and see if you can get a better rate on the product from your local independent garden center in bulk, because that's going to be your better financial benefit there.
And I don't know where this person lives, but our springs have just been like all over the board.
We went recently, a couple of weeks ago, we went from summer to fall, like in 24 hours.
But now it's more like late summer, early fall weather. So
I bought some organic compost. However, it is extremely hydrophobic. What should I do to fix it? Now, hydrophobic is a term used that it repels water. It's not absorbing moisture. It's so dry. It's like trying to get hot sand to pick up moisture. It's really very dry. And we've seen this in potting soil mixes. So there's a couple of options again with this situation. Sometimes you just need to put it in a couple of 5-gallon buckets, take your bag and mix it and divvy it up in a couple of 5-gallon buckets and add water, and then just keep stirring and mixing it in. Also, what you can do is use warm water. Warm water hydrates hydrophobic soil much easier and much more effective than just cold tap water or cold water out of the hose. So either way is a means in which you can go ahead and utilize your getting that compost or that compost to absorb some moisture. Well, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. Miss any portion of the program or want to revisit it? Our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, is the place to find all that, or go to your favorite search engine and type in the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Tune in the program next week where we'll be discussing fall bulbs and mums. Also, how to pick out the best apple and pumpkin farm. If you're going to go to one, there's some things you should be aware of before you just pick one, drive over, and either it's a good experience or a bad experience. We'll go over that. And we'll have a new segment called Chatter Spot, where Holly and I will pick a topic, non-political, non-religious, and we will discuss it a couple of times this year. We got a few more shows left.
Fight.
No, we're not going
to fight.
So we'll have some candid conversations about topics that may entertain you. And we'll answer your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joey Baird, and we will see you in the garden.